Greetings. Welcome to the Pisces new moon. This is the cosmic astrology forecast with myself, Optiks Hamilton, the astrologer, and we also have
Zena Edwards. I am a poet and tarot reader.
That's great. So this is a very sensitive point of the year, and it's interesting. We have our 4 planets with the new moon in Pisces. We had 4 planets there. So we are doing this one day after the new moon, whereas there's forecast for next 14 days, 13 days. And the moon now is in Aries, conjunct Chiron and Ceres. So we'll talk about the meaning of that later. But it's the moon is now shifted to culminate in an energy of action and pushing forward.
Yeah. The action part is really interesting, actually, just from the perspective that this is some intense planning stages before you jump off into the action, which will come around about about a week and a half from now, which will be the waxing gibbous. So, and that's a period of like putting things into action slowly, gently putting things into action. Or it really depends on your sign. It really depends on what else is happening.
Well, that makes sense because let's look at the new moon chart, because action, the planet that governs action is, where is it?
Slide across.
No, that's not the photo. The planet that governs action, Mars, is in Gemini, and it's trining Saturn in Aquarius. So that's a period of thinking, planning what you want to initiate. As we're here in the UK, it's kind of like what you need to keep private. In here in Britain, where we reside, where this new moon is active for us, because it's going to have a different effect where you are in the different locations. So, but generally speaking, that does ring the same as the zodiac here, or the chart for the new moon. So yeah, it's a sensitive new moon because it's conjuncting Neptune and Venus. So let me stop this share. Yeah, so it's actually conjuncting Neptune and Venus, and so it's the sun and the moon. And then that Neptune and that Venus is interesting because those planets will really like it in Pisces. So Neptune rules Pisces, ancient ruler is Jupiter, and then Venus is there where it's exalted, because it's exalted there in Pisces. So it's about your ideals, it's about your dreams, it's about being sensitive, and it's about initiating new energy to do with your spiritual life. Where Pisces is in our chart, it shows where we have to serve, suffer or serve,
Right.
What is our karmic kind of ties as well, to a degree, and even certain things, what we have to sacrifice for, or what we have to even be a martyr for. So those are kind of themes for Piscean, because Pisces, the archetype of Pisces is the veil being lifted, and what's being done in secret, spirit, intuition, and feeling. The oceans, Maya, but it's a dual sign. It's a duality, so it's actually it's a mutable sign. So Piscean is very changeable. It's mutable. It's the water waves that are going in a very dreamy fashion.
So I've got a quick question for you. it's interesting. Everything's interesting in this podcast. Basically, thinking about our intuition, our dreams, the dream space, the expansion of consciousness in this time as well, and strategizing and planning for that. Like, so because Pisces is also about the illusion state as well, right? About the illusions and what you can and can't hold on to. So this is probably a time to be as grounded as possible, just to counter getting caught up in illusory things.
Yeah, because the Pisces is about the universal connectivity of us as well. But it's also like ideologies, like and beliefs, Christianity and Judaism and Islam and political ideology, because it's icons as well that we venerate to such a high point that, you know, if we're not careful, these icons can pull the veil over our eyes. So because it's a new moon energy, what happened on the new moon is what somebody or something is trying to initiate. And because the sun is in Pisces, sun represents the authoritative person, the leader, the head, the figurehead. So it's interesting because there's a crossover between the Piscean and the Aquarius age. So the Aquarian age is phasing in more and more. It's like that, you know, and then it's coming to that, and before it takes over the Piscean age. So it's like so it's a crossfading, and right now, what people need to be fully aware of and cognizant of is that new movements, because Pisces is also ruled by Jupiter, so it represents like gurus and stuff like that too. So leaders put themselves in position in terms of ideology. So we don't want no brand new second-hand deceptive belief systems being initiated. Because somebody or some people or some things or some leaders within certain things that to do with political ideology or religious ideology or belief are trying to create a new veil in order to pull the wool over eyes in terms of all things that to do with Neptune and Venus. So Venus rules law as well, and Venus rules money, and Neptune is deceptiveness.
But also, don't you think though that because the actual energy is about illusion and how we are making our reality like concrete. So as much as there are people potentially pulling a veil over people's eyes, there's also a veil being pulled to reveal what's going on.
Yes.
So it's really interesting that we're talking about how we construct our own realities and how we are able to find our own sense of so we were talking about Aquarius, which is about the collective, but we have to really, really clear about who we are as individuals so that we can move. What am I trying to say?
Well, Pisces is the age of belief and Aquarius is the age of knowing. So because there's a cross-fading between going from one to another, we're still trying to wash off the effects of coming from the Piscean age into the age of knowing, because Aquarius is about knowledge of self. So Piscean is about the age of belief with ideologies where you believe in something. So Jesus is a metaphor for the imagination or faith. Faith can move mountains. Walking on water meant that Jesus had domain over spirit.
Yeah, but what he also, Jesus was meant to have said was like, I look under any rock and you will find me, which means, you know, you don't have to have a leader. It's like, it's about you, it's about your own power, or your own spirituality is within.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? You don't have to belong to any church, or you don't have to have a leader. It's in you.
Right.
Right. So it's the whole idea of being able to trust your own intuition and trust your own gut and your own sense of, I want to say sense of smell, but you know, like, you know, our senses are heightened at this point as well, right? So if you can't find your way, or if you can't trust a piece of food that's in the fridge or something, you know, let's say just give it a smell. Trust your nose. Trust your nose, which is about trusting your
instincts.
Your nose. Follow your nose. That's the phrase I was looking for. Right. So it's like trusting your own instincts, trusting your own intuition.
Yes.
So that's why I'm saying the veil can be pulled over your eyes, but you are also capable of pulling the veil back.
Yes.
And seeing what's behind the veil, because ultimately it's about the veil, and it depends on where your headspace is at as to whether or not you want to have some an illusion in your life, because you're frightened of letting things go. And the whole thing with new moon is you have to let things go so you can start fresh. I said this in the last thing, when it comes to the full moons, is to start afresh, you have to put an end to things. So
what some people are trying to do is create a replica of a deceptive belief system with new names, or new titles, new gods, and all this type of stuff. Brand new, second-hand, deceptive thing. But also remember, Pisces deals with charity. So it's like, because you give, and you give in secret. Pisces is also to do the veil. So what's in secret? So what you give in secret, right? So it's something that you give without wanting anything back in receivership. So at the same time, you got to watch out that it's a double-edged sword, because it's mutable. Pisces is, one fish going up and one fish coming down. So one fish is going up towards the universal, the universal humans universal connectivity, or connection to the universal principles. And then the other one is coming down and making it manifest in the realm. So in this realm, on this plane of existence, in the physical realm. Right, okay. So, and then there's a band that connects the two, like a rope that binds them together. So charity is about doing something that is karmically good for you.
Yeah, she was talking about service earlier, wasn't it?
Serve, yes. Yeah. So where Pisces is in our natal chart, if you have it in your first, second, third house, fourth house, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, all the way to the 12th, they're all going to affect in which aspect of life you serve your karmic duties, or you have to be careful about things about deceptivity, because it's also an element of, like, Pisces rule ghosts, like Pisces rule ghosts, and Pisces rules movies and being in the dark, your imagination being impressed upon, but it also rules your faith, your belief system, your imagination. So what it is that you are imagining your thought coming into some type of existence, because we're going to go into this Sabian symbol.
Really very interesting. I'll just off the back of what you're saying, because the whole idea, if this is a time, like, again, when I was speaking earlier about things being really grounded, right? Your imagination, making use of this Piscean energy to imagine, to be creative, to use your imagination for how you can manifest what you want in this in 3D on Earth, in a where you can ground it. So this is a great time to actually use your imagination, to use this energy, to use that imagination energy to kickstart it, to fuel your imagination.
Yeah.
You know, you know, inspire yourself and feel inspired by you as well, and your own. Like I'm saying,
So,
if you're not looking at a guru, and you become your own guru to yourself in some ways, like you're trusting your own intuitive compass, then, you know, be inspired by yourself, by you. I am inspired by the fact that I'm having all of these like divine hits right now, and I can guide myself. Do you know what I mean? I don't need to rely on anyone. However, that's not saying with this Aquarian age coming in as well, because I know that's about community and stuff. So that's what I'm saying. If you know who you are as an individual, you're not going to be dragging any insecurities into a space. Do you know what I mean? You're coming feeling open and ready for the world, and what's the new age that's coming in, you know, without going down that new age road. But so what are you going to say? So the Sabian symbols.
So
because that's really,
because in here the Sabian symbol for 23 degrees Pisces, which is the new moon degree, is a material medium giving a seance, a materializing medium giving a seance. A materializing medium has a sensitivity to awareness of spiritual forces. She is giving a seance and can manifest messages from spirit that are given from the other side. She is an instrument who is able to receive radiations, frequencies, or vibrations that cannot easily be sensed. So materialized can be tangible and rewarding things. However, there should be some caution. Sometimes they can have more to do with drama and show rather than having any real or lasting substance.
Yeah. And I think that's, to me, speaks about the, I mean, I'm sort of learning astrology, but the whole thing of like Pisces ruling the 12th house, that's like what you said, is that it's the dumping ground for all of the stuff that people don't want to deal with, all the drama.
Yeah, the 12th house, that
you don't want to deal with, and it reaches the point where that stuff is going to be revealed. So there may be drama that comes up.
Remember, Pisces also rules sleep. So what is in your subconscious comes up in your dream state. So the best time to actually tap into the spirit realm on your imagination is to do your meditation and your visualizations before you go to bed, and then when you wake up, because you're in and out of the beta wave. There's a different wave frequency of the brain, and it's the most where you're subtly picking up vibrations, but you're spiritually in tune with the astral. So that's the best times, because in Pisces now we're in the dream state, we're in the imagined state. So Piscean people, they are very kind of dreamlike, or they have certain ideals that they like to stick to, or to just like, if you know someone who's a Piscean ascendant, you just look at them. Sometimes they're just gazing, they're just daydreaming, they're just out there somewhere, like drifting all the time, drifting, because they do things to escape a lot. They watch a lot of movies, or they drink a lot of alcohol, or they listen to music constantly, or they
want to block out anything else rather than deal with the real.
Or they smoke excessive amounts of weed or alcohol, or some things like this. It's also where your addictions are as well.
So that's where the drama thing could potentially come in, come up.
Yeah, I believe so.
So if I can just at this point sort of talk about some of the cards that I've pulled for. I'm going to do it slightly differently this time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look at each of the elements of the signs.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do the earth signs, fire signs, air signs, and water signs together. I'm going to pull. I pulled cards already. I pulled oracle cards basically. But the question was based on everything we've talked about now.
Yeah.
Please feel free to ask me anything, or to embellish with your astrology knowledge.
Yeah.
So, like for all of our Earth signs right now, what is it you'd be looking at? We've just literally been talking about gurus, right?
Right.
And the card that came up, this is a deck called Trust Your Vibe.
Right.
Right. So it's all about your intuition. This deck. And I also chose a mermaid deck, which is looking at the depths and the wateriness and stuff like that. So I thought that would be a cool way to. So we've got here for the Earth signs. This will be your Taurus, Capricorn, and
Virgo.
Virgo. Sorry, Virgo. Mentors and role models and healing. So we're probably looking for some kind of healing right about now, or a focus on that. And I also got the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles reversed. So this is about legacy and feeling as though the past needs some healing, right? The past needs some healing. And I'm imagining that there's people who you may have looked up to, or you want to look to because you're looking for some kind of healing work that's about family, that's about your legacy, that's about how you're making a mark on this world. Like, what are people going to be saying about you? How are they going to be talking about you? How have you built stability? How have you built stability and financial stability for yourself? And potential. I mean, the fact that it was reversed means that there's a blockage in some particular way.
What card was reversed?
The Ten of Pentacles was reversed. And this card is all about legacies. And but it's also about the decisions that you're making now to build your legacy. And how sometimes that decision-making process can be, you really have to pay attention to the fine details.
Right.
And you also have to be prepared to learn all the intricacies around like contracts and all the intricacies around what your rights are,
right,
and stuff like that. But I feel as though with this healing card, I think it's about healing family, actually. Healing family. And I think to use this energy, use the Piscean energy.
Well, actually, that's an aspect right for today on the 14th of March.
Oh, it's Mother's Day.
Yeah, as well too.
It's Mother's Day. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the head honcho of the family, right?
Yeah.
So on the 14th of March, we have the moon in Aries, conjunct Chiron, which is to do with the wounds and your gifts as a healer, based upon the wounds that you has been inflicted early in your childhood, and it's conjunct Ceres,
Okay.
which is where we nurture and where we generate from, and where we have aspects of our kind of prosperity to do with, but it's mostly to do with where we nurture and where we care for. So there will be elements of family wounds today, especially today and tomorrow, that need action taken, or has affected your self-esteem about yourself.
That's interesting.
And also self-esteem, action, but also like you just need to develop courage around those things and bravery, and because something is blocking you from your leadership potential that you need to work out, but it's your strength once you understand how to convert it, transmute it.
Okay. I mean, this whole thing of mentors and role models, that sometimes you want that to be your parents, right? But that might be some elders who are around you who,
Mother-like figure.
Mother, father-like figure. But the wounds that you're talking about, so I just pulled these two oracle cards. It says, love yourself and count your blessings. So it's almost like, look at what you've tot up, do the audit on what you've already got, because it's probably better than you think, right? And also to love yourself. That's the healing that's being talked about here. And the fact that you talked about Chiron being activated by
Ceres and the moon.
And the moon.
Yeah, so it's a tri asteroid thing. The Ceres and Chiron, they're asteroids, but they're the two most important asteroids for me. That makes 12 of all of the other 10 considered planets. And you put Chiron and Ceres, and you got the sacred 12 to divine with in your astrology.
Right.
It's interesting that I think because the depositor of the moon and old Chiron and Ceres, which is in Aries, because the depositor of the ruler of Aries is Mars and it's in Gemini. That means there's a communicative message that needs to be communicated, or there's something that you need to understand through research, getting information in order to bring about the courage and build about this esteem. But it needs to be discussed within the family dynamics, but somebody needs to do the knowledge on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So just very, very quickly, based on what you just now said, it will just for each sign, just a very quick card for each sign. For Taurus, you've got the Death card reversed. So there's a blockage for a transformation, a blockage for release right now. So if that conversation can happen for you, Taurus, you'll be releasing probably everybody.
Right.
There's a potential for releasing everybody, not just yourself, even though you are doing this for yourself, but you're counting your blessings.
So that would translate.
That
would translate to Taurus ascendants and Taurus moons.
Right. There you go. Yes, thank you for that. For Virgo, we've got the Sun card reversed. So I feel what I want to say with that is get out of your own way and see your joy.
Right.
Get out of your own way and see your joy, because you've got the Sun card reversed. Right. So I mean, really and truly, this is a very creative time.
Right.
Like I said, using your imagination, communicating what you need to communicate, right? As you just now said. And this is all about your legacy, all about your legacy. So I was going to say get out of your own way and be on a positive, on a more upbeat note.
Right.
And for our Capricorns, support is there for you. You've got the Six of Wands. This is a lovely deck of cards, Manzel B deck. But support is there for you. Progress is there for you. Carry yourself high as well, as what I want to say. So I want you to like see yourself as you are already successful. See yourself being supported. Have the conversations that you need to have with family or people who are in a position to help you build your legacy, help you build up the reputation as well of what you want to, how you want to represent yourself and how you want people talking about you. Yeah. Okay. Shall I carry on?
Yeah.
All right, very quickly. Going on to our air signs now. For our air signs, we've got seek solitude. That was something you spoke about, Piscean energy as well. You talked about solitude. Yeah, seclusion. Seclusion. So seek solitude and call on your runners. So your runners, those are your spirit guides and helpers. Guides, right. Yeah. Spirit guides and helpers, your ancestors, people who are there for you. Because they want to see you freed up. So I don't know if it's the people are feeling blocked right about now. Right? Free spirit. I don't know if people are feeling it a bit blocked right now in our air signs, sorry. And ancestral altar, build an ancestral altar. Right. Those are the practical things someone can do. Build an ancestral altar, put their family, venerate their family on the altar with the images and the photos, and start to commune. We've also got the star card here. Now, the star card is ruled by Aquarius, rules a star card, right? So I feel like the energy that our air signs can come with right now could actually offer, again, this is about hope for others because we're going into the Aquarian age. So this is about hope for others and making good use of this Piscean energy that we were just not talking about.
Well, what's interesting is that where we are over here in Britain, the ascendant of this new moon landed at 29 degrees of Gemini, and the ruling planet of Gemini is Mercury, which is in Aquarius.
Okay.
And when you see that something's at 29 degrees, there's an urgency to do with it. So us over here, we're experiencing the urgency of a message that needs to be communicated within the dynamic of group situation of friends. There's an urgency, and because it's in the 8th house, that's to do with power dynamics.
Right.
It's in the 8th house, ruling the 9th. So it's a power dynamic within kind of like you're searching for meaning of life type situations, things within a kind of group like that.
Right.
So that's specific to us in Britain.
Right, okay. So where was I? Sorry, for our Aquarian, for our air signs. I'm going to pull a card for each one. So Gemini, let's see what happens for our Gemini, for our Libras, and for Aquarius. So for Geminis, we've got the 2 of Wands reversed. There's a lot of indecision. So if you're walking around in the quagmire, in the illusion, in the deceptions, in the shadow, in the dark of what Pisces can, in that Neptunian energy, in that subconscious, if you're submerged in that right now, that 2 of Wands, the decision that has to be made. You can see this image, this person has gone within, right?
Right.
So that's what that seeking that solitude is about. To calm your brain down, Gemini. And I'm speaking as a Gemini. To calm my brain down at this moment in time during this.
Well, Mars is in your sign. Mars is there, so Mars is like quickness and action and agitation and a lot of energy. So that's where the energy flow is in Gemini. It's a lot of urgent kind of things that are going on in the communication and the thoughts, right, and in the need to write and to get it out. However, Mercury is coming to spoil that in the party, because Mercury is jumping out of Aquarius into Pisces.
Okay.
That's happening the late part of the 15th, which is Monday the 15th. Right, okay. So there's going to be that's going to be a tension there between this is the aspect, accelerated aspect that we talked about last month.
Yes.
With the new moon there, where we talked about this tricky salesman element.
Yes.
And this pushy salesman and this swift of thought, and this is a really kind of ramping it up now, and this is going on for quite some time here. Building towards the 23rd and the 24th when it's going to be peak. Okay. So all this transit here from 15th of March, you're going to see it ramp up to the 23rd and 24th of March, okay, and then start petering, just start waning its influence. We've got the equinox happening on the 20th. Right. So that's a new year as far as astrologers are concerned. That's where everything starts, where life is generating again, in its ascendancy of the generative force, mm-hmm, and the sun is very strong there in Aries. So I think we'll do another forecast for that for the 20th. Yeah, because it's later on in the evening on the 20th in GMT time. Probably around 8 p.m. I haven't looked at the time yet, but it's probably around 8 p.m. On the 20th that we going in the equinox. Okay. So yeah, what you saying? So the Geminis need to really go inside, seek solitude and call on your ancestral
ancestors, or whatever is your thing in terms of like staying centered, because there's the hope card is here, the star card, you know, ruled by Aquarius, as I said earlier. The star card is here to help you see what your gifts are, what your talents are, what your faith is, like having faith in self as well. But it's also a card of healing, so having to go within. So while there is all of this kind of this uncertain energy, which with the illusory energy that Pisces brings, you just have to come back to center and not try to, because you could be grasping for things with your quick thinking, gems, you know, with quick thinking, grasping for things and trying to make decisions, and you can't make a decision because you've got fogginess, that Two of Wands reversed. Then we've got, for our Libras, we've got the Four of Wands. So there's action that wants to happen for the air signs. But the four of Wands is about stability. And
you show one here, it reverses the image, you know. So you have to try and.
Sorry about that. I think it's the right way around when it's in Zoom.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can't show it. It's pretty cards, man.
Four of Wands.
The Four of Wands is about foundations. The number 4 is about foundations and stability. When it comes to the Wands, that's about our ambition and our drive and what it is we want for the world. So there is all of those decisions you have to make. There is all of those patience of waiting for your ship to come in and waiting for the results to come in. But you're gonna get, if you allow that time, if you allow that solitude and allow yourself to express yourself and be really authentic to who you are, you're gonna find that there's more stability there than you probably think is happening. Especially because everything feels a little bit dreamy and a little bit watery and then foggy and intangible. But our Libras, you know, weighing things up, can be balanced and find foundation for this new moon energy, and make the best use of this new moon energy, build foundations, or to feel your stability that's already there. And then for our Aquarians, we've got the Knight of Cups reversed. So yeah, Knight of Cups reversed. This is how we are seen to action love, right? And there has to be, or not has to be, it is advised to have, to really trust. Looking at this card, I just want to show it a little bit more. You know, this is about how are you intuitively using your passion, right? If you think about that third eye being lit and that fire representing the fire of love and passion, like how are you intuitively using it? How are you allowing yourself to tap into what your ancestors are telling you so that you can be a servant of love? He's a servant of love, right? Knights are all about...
Which is all the Piscean energy, the love of the soul and the humanity and your service to humanity.
Yeah. So for our Aquarians, I want, because it was reversed as well, so it's almost, I want to say, get out of your head and stay in your heart, right? Because we can, air signs up in our heads, Aquarians, very analytical. Don't block the blessings in some ways. Allow yourself to be free-spirited, and to keep that cup, that Knight of Cup upright. Just be prepared to kind of commit to your own happiness through how you're offering love. You know, the Knight of Cups is just take my love. I want to give you.
What do you value in terms of what it is that you're trying to bring through love element?
The love element, yeah. That kind of universal love, whether it's romantic love or universal love or familial love, or you know, it's. I think we have to just go inside and know what that is for ourselves. You know. Anyway, in general, I think this is good advice for all of the signs. So yeah, that's those two signs. Is there anything you would like to add?
No. I just got these forecast dates here as well. So, you know, we're going to build with that as well. And because we've got a full moon culminating on March 29th in Libra. on a 9 degrees Libra moon on the 29th. So, yeah, on the 16th, the moon moves into Taurus, so that's now a grounding energy. And okay, I wanted to also say with that Chiron and that that Ceres conjunct there, it's a good day to do things like, it's a good time to do things like Reiki, things like massage therapy, sound healing, any kind of body healing, but regenerative healing to do with how you're emotionally feeling as well. So with the moon going into Taurus on the 16th, I would say that is a better day to initiate those forms of healing or to engage in that. 16th, 17th, 18th, 17th, we have the moon conjuncting Uranus, which is squaring Saturn. So you have a real kind of conflict and tensions within the dynamic of groups or online groups. What you're constructing, there's some type of resistance and rebellion, and it's going against some kind of codes and ethics. Wow. Like there's a big thing. So when around the 17th of March, 16th, 17th, that's going to show itself again. Right. Because that was about 9 to 10 days ago, that aspect was exact. And because there's slow moving planets, it's a slow transit that we're going to have for the next few months, actually. Couple months at minimum. Because it's going to go, at some point, Saturn's going to go retrograde and we're going to start experiencing the echo of that again. So for the next 2 or 3 months, that's going to be a theme there. So it's a longer transit, longer themes to expect. You know that your group has code ethical things and codes of conduct issues. Right. And it's going against what is being attempted to be constructed. So deal with it, man.
I mean, that's kind of a bit. I'm almost anxious for people hearing that, but I'm anxious more so for our fire signs, because what we've got here is I've got a feeling that tempers could rise. Mm-hmm. There could be a lot of frustration, and it's around justice. Got the justice card here. The 2 cards for intuition, trusting your vibe, is if you feel like you're on the edge with that fiery aspect of yourself, after what you've just said about say that part again about
the tension between the code and the ethical things that the group is trying to construct and structuralize against an ethical value that's out of sync, out of whack.
Okay. I think there's going to be some frustration that's going to come up, and I think it might be, what I want to say is, do not confuse your feelings with the facts.
Right.
That's what I want to say. So there might be some frustration that comes up. You've got feelings, but you've also got walk it off.
Right.
Right. That's why I'm seeing that frustration coming through. But you've also got the Empress reversed and justice. So where they might feel like there's some kind of injustice being done to you, or you're experiencing, or you're watching and observing, is going to make you feel disempowered, because the Empress is all about manifestation and knowing that you are abundant and knowing that you can make whatever you want in the world, that through you anything can manifest. This is the fire sign, that this is the ambition, this is the sign of vitality and ambition and creativity and making things happen. And if you feel that you are unable to, or you feel like you're being frustrated, as in obstructed, frustrated, do you know what I'm saying? Over some kind of injustice that you might feel. It might feel unfair to you that you cannot manifest what it is you want to make happen. walk it off. That's what I want to say. Like, literally just go and walk in nature, ground yourself somehow. Maybe in here I'm looking at the fact that this person is walking in water. It might be time to take a spiritual bath, or like if you have intention, you know, when you have a shower, if you imagine that shower actually washing away negative energy down the drain, like that's what you can do. But basically you need to get rid of that feeling, that frustration, fire signs, because it's about the injustice that we see in the world in general. If you look at where we're at right now, in general, the climate we're in right now, all the injustices are rearing their heads. But with this moon, you're gonna feel it even more so, because, like I said, the veil's being drawn aside. It's like the Wizard of Oz moment, you know, when you see the wizard is just some dude pulling some levers and knobs, right? So let me just do one
with their fast talking self.
Yeah, so let me just do really quickly, pull a card for Aries and Leo and Sagittarius. So that's for our Aries, that's for our Leo, and for our Sagittarians. Right, so for Aries, you've got the Knight of Swords. There's that fast talking again that you were talking about, right? Be mindful that there might be somebody, or it could be you, who is the fast talker, who might also try to be a bit, trying to mess with your head with lots of words and stuff like that. Might try to mess with your head. This is about what's just. The Knight of Swords is about what is just and what is right, you know. And if anybody is saying things that are clouding the issue, let me just show you. Take a look. I mean, the dark. I always think about the dark or the black being the unknown.
Right.
And this, you can't see the stars in this. So you might be able to on Zoom on the other side, but there's the stars in this. So it's about the unknown.
Right.
And you could be speaking the unknown, but as long as there's truth in it, right? In terms of your intention and having an integrity about it. Or somebody speaking stuff to you and he just throws you into the dark, like literally, like, I have no idea what that person is talking about, right? Just be mindful of that. Just everything in this time has to be, if you're going to be speaking, all your communications has to be just and right and not power hungry, not manipulative, because the Knight of Swords can potentially take that kind of, just comes in there. He's an action guy, comes in with his sword, waving his sword and saying, this is what's going to happen. He's a director of things, right?
Right.
Usually, you know, he might be not a lawyer, but he might be
a pushy advocate.
Something like that. I mean, you know, I don't want to
quite forceful, or
forceful is the word. That's forceful is the word. So there's a lot going on for our Librans. We've got 4 cards that came out: Ace of Wands, Page of Swords, 7 of Swords, Ace of 4 of Cups. So look, I mean, again, this is blocked. This is where the frustration might come through. Like, the 7 of Swords is about deception straight up. The 4 of Swords is dissatisfaction. You know? What's written with the 4 of Cups there, it's about how are we feeling emotionally stable? How can we be, if there's a deception there, emotionally stable? And where's the truth? Like that, I think that is the eye of truth, and what's written in the palm of your hand. Like what's your truth? Does that make sense? Yeah, because the Page of Wands and the Page of Swords and the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is about feeling incredibly expansive in the mind. Like, Librans, you just got so much you want to share and say in this moment with this particular moon energy. But you could find yourself in, again, the wool being pulled over your eyes. Like, there's going to be frustration and anger there. Just walk it off, man. Walk that shit off. Makes me feel uncomfortable.
Wow.
That makes me feel uncomfortable because you talked about that tension with that moon. So yeah, you do what you got to do to keep that fire down, right? You know. use some of the frustration to imagine what you want to create in a positive way, though, in a positive light. And I'm just going to quickly do the water signs. Do you have anything you want to?
Yeah, we can just do. We can build it in. We can build it in phases, you know, because we've got to do the forecast all the way to the 29th. So there's the main things. So the 17th of March, the moon moves into Gemini. Mars is there, that we already know. So that is going to be about don't get into any arguments. Don't react to anything based upon it being said. Take a moment to reflect. Don't be reactive. Don't, whatever you do, that will be a disaster to have an automatic response to something. And also, don't make any decisions. That I would say that's not a good day to make a decision on something that you're looking at contractually or something that you are in discussion around. Look for the fogginess. Look for things that are not uncertain, very uncertain, that is trying to be something or someone is trying to pull the wool over your eyes. So that is a day to be aware of any kind of things that are not clear, that you should not make a decision over. On the 20th of March, we are approaching the equinox there, and then the moon is going to be squaring a Neptune that day, right? So it's a very sensitive day, probably not a great day for channeling. You know, you're not going to get clear messages through channeling. That's a time to kind of be taking a more considered thought in regards to things that are coming more intuitively.
Can I just interject
Sure.
So based on what you said about not making any decisions and trying not to erupt, and also, you know,
like the 17th, 18th of March, 17th of March,
look beyond
20th to the 20th, actually.
I would say look beyond the situation, because you've got here, look forward. So don't look back, A, and also B, like look beyond the situation itself. Be forward thinking, be ahead, and do that by begin to explore what potentialities are, what's possible. That's part of looking forward and turning that negative, that tension energy into something positive. And then also be patient.
That's a great interjection there with the tarot cards or oracle cards, because the Mars is trining, is a supporting aspect to Saturn in Aquarius. So it's about going forward with something into the future that you are planning, or you're planning for, or you have to strategize, have a strategy in place for. So it's bide your time and strategize.
Be patient, bide your time and strategize. Okay, that's great.
So that's the get out clause around the 17th to the 20th. That's how the universe is supporting you, or the cosmic energy is supporting you. So on the 20th, the sun jumps into Aries. That's the equinox point. So it can happen on the 20th, 21st, 22nd. This year is happening on the 20th.
Right.
All right.
Okay. So just quickly, just to finish off with our water sign. I don't know what's happening for our water signs, but it says bear love. Love. In terms of your intuition, it says, what do you love? Right? Tuning into your intuition, find out what it is that you love, because I think
Venus is in the water sign of Pisces. So they got a trine, they got supportive element to element to element. They're all getting nice supportive energy from the new moon and Venus and Neptune. So it's a real good time for the water signs to do with love.
Beautiful. then also you've got, in terms of, you've got the love card anyway, right? Like this was the mermaid, that going into the subconscious, like, what do you love? It's all, and then the 10 of Cups, the ultimate love card, you know, like this is the ultimate happiness card, right? In the minor arcana before you're going into the majors.
Right.
So yeah, whatever's happening for you with regards to
well, his head is a cup.
His head is a cup, like, so it's like your imagination is going to be conjuring all the love, all the feels, man. It's like, it's all the feels. I don't know what else to say for that. Let me just pull.
So yeah, it's a nice time for the water signs in terms of love, finances, and being idealistic and real romantic, and really kind of going for it.
So for Cancer, let's pull up for Cancer, please. For Cancer, please. Cancer, Scorpio. So Scorpio and Pisces, please. What's happening for our Pisces? Alrighty. Yeah, I got you. So for the Cancerians, you've got the 8 of Pentacles. You might get a bit obsessive about it, actually. Get a bit obsessive about love. You want to put your love situations in order.
Right.
Put your love situations in order.
With that Cancerians?
Yeah. Sure. The 8 of Cups. 8 is all about personal power and structure and order. But also this is about, if you do that, you're going to be actually finding there's more love in a more intense way, in a way that's, I say intense way, because it's structured, you're able to experience it in a much more intense way. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. in a more refined way, right? In a much more refined way. The 8 of Pentacles is a Virgo card. Mm-hmm. So you'll be able to experience it in a much more purified and refined way. So that's beautiful, I think, for our Cancerians. For Scorpio, we've got the 4 of Swords, which is about going within. So this is probably more, this could be a self-love. This could mm-hmm. be going within, and again, it's about structure, but it's also about rest. It's about resting in love, is what I want to say. Mm-hmm. Don't allow yourself to be too intense, because I know people say that about Scorpios. Allow yourself to have a much more relaxed experience around love. Again, that way it will be a much more beneficial experience for you. And the 2 of Swords for our Pisces. So again, this is about decision. This is about thoughts. This is, again, I would say this is a card of meditation, again, because this could be a card of conflict.
Right.
So it's not necessarily conflict in your love relationships, but be mindful of that, because we are looking for our happiness based on putting your thoughts in their rightful place and focusing on love first. Let the love be the thing that makes you make decisions.
Does
that make sense?
Yeah.
Allow your decisions to be made with love first, but be still, be silent, and be hopeful. Just gonna pull one more card from here, and then we're done. Well, I'm done, anyways. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, you on the count? No, go
on. Just finishing off with Pisces here. One last one for Pisces. Yeah, be of service. For the water signs, so this is for the water signs. Be of service to love. Use the love babies this year, man. It's like for this. Yeah,
it's a great energy for Pisceans, really, really right now with the element of anyone with their moon there in Pisces, or their ascendant in Pisces, or anyone who's got Venus in Pisces, who's on a Venus return. It's really, really beautiful.
I'm glad we ended with that energy.
So on the 21st, the moon moves into Cancer. Now, one of the good things about equinoxes is that it's good for cleaning out your system, like flushing out, fasting, and renewing your cells. And because that day is in Cancer, it's even amplified there. So from 21st, I will be on a fast or definitely clean out. 21st, 22nd, you see, and then you're good. With a new kind of regrowth and regenerative things about the food that you eat and cleaning out, so you have a better system flowing. Your plumbing system is working better. In the moon moves into Leo in the 24th, 23rd, 24th. So that is a time of pushing yourself and reflecting on what it is that you need for yourself, and being heart-centered, and being in your heart, in knowing what it is that makes you feel happy, and being childlike and playful, creative. Is a good time to be creative, and even like visit children, and be in more childlike. Friday the 26th, something is happening interesting here, is that the Venus is moving into its evening star position, meaning that it's at its peak until it goes into its evening star. So it's like starting to wane. Its influence is slightly starting to wane. So meaning that if you're doing anything Venetian, Mars, because Venus moves into Aries actually on the 21st, the same day as Mars moon moving into Cancer. So a little bit of tension there actually with how you emotionally feel, and what action you need to take around your relationship. So gut, how you feel, and finances around the home, these things are going to be tense, or some kind of challenges that need to be negotiated and sorted out there, definitely. And with Venus moving to the evening star position in Aries in the 26th, it's basically it's basically stating that try and put things into action that you want to initiate, financially, especially with the home. Like have those things sorted out by the 26th there, and any kind of negotiations, any kind of what can I say? Discussions you need to have, or you need to iron out things with some kind of diplomacy, but try and have things sorted out before Venus goes into the evening star position, because she's at the peak there. She's at the peak there. And also Venus is starting to become combust by the sun, so you're going to find very kind of pushy leaders trying to bulldoze their way through, or authoritarian figures. And actually, we've been in this element for the existence of the full, even from the new moon, because the sun and the Venus are 4 degrees apart. So somebody is trying to bulldoze their way through in regards to law of finances, money, romance, even, and so on and so forth. And we're coming into the full moon on the 29th there of March. Yeah. We're coming into the full moon for the 29th. So we'll do a 20th, we'll do a broadcast on the equinox for the 20th there.
Okay.
Hopefully, if you're blessed with time there. And yeah, on the full moon we have it on the 29th.
We'll do another one.
Yeah.
Sure.
So so with that, I mean, I think that's it. We've wrapped it up there. The things to watch out for is putting on a false front, merely doing a performance for others, making things up, using mind control over others to get a desired outcome.
That nice sword.
That's manifested itself already. You know, using sensational methods to induce others to give up control over their own lives. That this guru complex and all this shit. Exorcism performed by the inexperienced, inviting weird energies or people. So the key words for this materializing a medium, giving a seance is the Sabian symbol for the degree of the new moon there, Pisces 23 degrees, is spiritual channeling, a need to free up stuck or earthbound entities, efforts to materialize things, coming straight out with things, giving force to spirit, tarot readings, clairvoyance, and clairsentience. Things seen ahead of their time, bringing messages from the other side. And you've got to be more observing of what's happening around you, because you may be in the library, you may pull out a book and it may open up a page, and where that page is open up that jumps out at you, there's a very, very, very important message in there. You may see an image in a cloud that is shaping or forming something that is going to be like very pertinent to you. You may have mystical experiences with a tree out there in nature or anything, but you may not even be noticing that the radio is in the background. You might just hear the word of something that is pertinent to you, and it was in the background for 2 hours, but that one word was the message. So that's what's happening here.
That's the veil, that just peeking at things, peeking out from behind the veil, having an opportunity, taking an opportunity.
Yes.
Nice.
So with that, there's another extended broadcast, because just how it is. So just it. That's the flow, man. Just in the flow, and I hope you enjoyed it. And you know, we're always available for mind-blowing readings. And you can contact me at info@optikshamilton.com. You can find me on Instagram at Optiks Hamilton, at Facebook, same handle. All the handles is Optiks Hamilton. And yeah.
And you can find me for tarot readings at poetstarotcorner.com. And my Insta is Poets Tarot Corner. And my name is Zena Edwards.
Peace.
Thank you.